and I split my kneecap in half. And I think I was the lowest paid athlete. I did my surgery, no one found out. Eventually I got fired anyway, and I had nothing to do but bodybuilding. Give me a shot and I guarantee you I will spread Redcon 1 into the entire Middle East. I was making probably 100K a month. How I actually did make money through the fitness industry. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. I'll be very honest with you, I usually find videos with these titles super cringe, especially when people go on camera and kind of boast about their money. So what I am trying to do, or what I'm going to try and do, is make this video as educational as possible and kind of actually show you a step-by-step on how I actually did make money through the fitness industry. Obviously, the fitness industry is a huge industry. There's a lot of opportunities. There are a few people who have made money. When I say money, let's first define what a millionaire is. A millionaire is someone whose assets, like let's say liquid cash or, accumulative houses or house, company worth or value exceeds over $1 million. There's also something called cash millionaire, which is someone who has over $1 million in cash in the bank, and like in the checkings account or whatever, like liquid cash. And there's multimillionaire, who's someone who's made over $2 million or has over $2 million in accumulative assets and cash. So I labeled the title how I became a millionaire from fitness. I don't want to go into too much details on which category, but let's just, I made a little bit of money, and I'm going to explain today how I did it. So we'll go back from the start. I used to live in Egypt. This is the apartment that we lived in, me and my family. I'd say medium, kind of medium income kind of family over there, which isn't really much compared to like Western world. We were 5 in a 3-bedroom. So me and my brother shared a room. I had my sister and my mom and dad. Fairly, small place, 1 family, 1 car. The rest of us took public transportation. So, average kind of, family living in Egypt. I started fitness. I studied engineering first, but while studying engineering, I was really into bodybuilding. I started lifting weights at around 18 years old. I was first a boxer, didn't work out. I had a lot of shoulder problems, got into bodybuilding. Now, I'm gonna try and summarize and get to the how I actually made the money part. So this is the first thing that happened. When I was 19 years old, I had a motorcycle and I crashed that motorcycle and I split my kneecap in half. I also tore a lot of, I think every single tendon in my shoulder, like nothing was holding it in place. So I needed surgery, and this was the picture that my brother took in the hospital. Now, I'm always the kind of guy that documents everything. I didn't have a YouTube channel back then. Maybe I was starting one. I can't really remember. This was like 2007 or 2006, something like that. YouTube was just still kind of on the rise. And what I did was I obviously still filmed my journey to compete. I was competing at the time. I think I did 1 or 2 shows. I think I did 1 show. I competed again in 2007 and I placed 3rd at the fourth at the University and Collegiate Nationals. The year after that, I did something that no one in my university has ever done before, which was win the University and Collegiate Nationals in bodybuilding. Usually it's the public, I was in a private university. Usually it's the public universities who have these champions, because bodybuilding is a very low income sport in Egypt. And people who, attend private universities don't really tend to get into bodybuilding. They're either like tennis players or soccer players, something like that. So I kind of, dove into, my dad spent every money he had to put me into a private university. So it was kind of like a weird vibe, because I'd hang out with the bodybuilders and stuff, but then in the university it was a completely different class of people. But anyways, I did end up winning the University and Collegiate Nationals. My friend suggested I should do a motivational video about the whole thing. And it was a kind of a back and forth conversation. He was a musician, I'm also a drummer. So we had that in common. He's like, let's make, let's put some music together and make like one of those music motivational videos. So we did that. I did a motivational video from the day I had my motorcycle accident, the picture in the hospital, all the way to winning the bodybuilding and University and Collegiate Nationals in Egypt. So it was like a motivational video. That video went viral at the time. It had 2 million views, and that kind of sort of sent people. So I funneled people, like I had in the description box, please visit my Facebook page. There wasn't Instagram at the time, or maybe there was, I don't know, but Facebook was a thing back then. So my Facebook at the time started hitting like 6 digits, like 100,000 people on there because of that video. So that was the first step. And from that day, I enrolled in ISSA. I had an ISSA personal trainer certification. I think I did a couple of courses, not sure which one, this was so long ago, but from then I started helping like close people out with programs, and you know, I put the before and after and things like that. So slowly people were like, hey, can you do me a program? And I used to charge like little to nothing for it. Anyways, I graduated, I got married, I moved to Oman, which is like kind of near Dubai for people who don't know the Middle East. And I was working there as a sales engineer. Complete nightmare, horrible. I was like worse than George Costanza from Seinfeld. Like I'd go there, browse Facebook, didn't do much work, and oftentimes I'd nap. I'd carry a briefcase to pretend like I'm all professional, but really I had my meals in there. And I did compete while I was in Oman, and I placed fourth on nationals over there, and this was an IFBB affiliated contest. So officially now I was a top 5 national contender based on IFBB standards and regulations. I then moved to Canada. When I came to Canada, like I was living in a shit apartment. It was like very ghetto. This was kind of the place. This was my kitchen. You can see like not a good place to live, especially raise a family. I had 2 kids at the time, so I was very desperate. I couldn't hold the job down, so I figured I gotta get back to bodybuilding. So I decided to go back to bodybuilding, and I compete at the Canadian Nationals. So at that point, I'm thinking to myself, I gotta win this thing from the first time. I have no other option. There's no option. Like if I don't win this thing from the first time, I won't get people to talk about me. My name won't kind of go out. You have to kind of make that impact if you want to really become someone in the fitness industry. So I was training twice a day. I did work, I think, at a telesales company. I'd wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd have my first meal. I'd go to work, 2 buses, 2 metros. I'd finish work at 5. I'd go back home, I'd eat, I'd see my kids, I'd then go to the gym right after. I'm back home at 11 o'clock or something like that. And sometimes I worked out, like in weekends, I worked out twice a day, where I did my 2 separate, like I do biceps or I do back and cardio in the morning, or back in the morning, and then later at night I'd go do biceps and cardio. So I'd always split my workout whenever I can. Eventually I got fired anyway, and I had nothing to do but bodybuilding. So I borrowed money here and there to kind of support my cycles and you know, what I needed to compete, and my food obviously. And bam, won it from the first time. After that, I gained a little bit of credibility, so I started approaching people to prep for shows. And I had my first client, his name was Evan, he's from Quebec. I kind of convinced him, let me coach you. I think you do really well, you have good genetics, and I know I can get you to win a couple of decent shows. So we competed at, I think we did 2 shows or 1 show, I don't remember, but we did do the Quebec provincials, and I believe he placed first. And now my reputation was starting to grow, and a lot of people here started to ask me to help them to prep for their shows. Fast forward to 2014, I competed again, this time trying to turn pro. Didn't work out. I placed horrible. I got food poisoning that day, placed out of the top 10 or top 10. I had my fire incident, and I did the same thing as I did with my motorcycle accident. So I documented the fire when I was in the ICU room, and I was like, you know what, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the big one. So I said I'm going to compete at Canadian Nationals in 2015 and document the whole thing, exactly the same as I did with my motorcycle accident. So kind of like the motivational route. I documented the whole thing, won Canadian Nationals again. So 2015, come back here, won Canadian Nationals. Then the online coaching requests started pouring in. I think with the video that I made, the motivational video that I made on YouTube and the Facebook, I think my Facebook was starting to get close to 1 million or something like that. After that, in 2016, so now my first income is like the programs. I was making, I think, maybe $4,000 to $6,000 a month. YouTube, I don't think I was getting paid much from YouTube, like a couple $100. 2016, I started my own supplement company, Durabolic Nutrition. I did not make money from that. I broke even. It didn't work out well. I was kind of doing it all on my own. Like I didn't have a whole team. I sent a couple of shipments out to Australia, Tunisia, maybe a couple to the States, some local stores here. But after a year or a year and a half, after 2 years, I decided to sell every last bit of the inventory I have and not produce anymore. Now, this is an essential piece of the story because then I had a lot of supplement marketing experience because I had my own supplement company. So I was very good at selling supplements or the knowledge of selling supplements and marketing it. In 2016, I competed at the Ben Weider Legacy Cup North Americas. I placed first in my weight class, but didn't win overall. 2017, I did turn pro. So I turned pro at the 2017 Ben Weider Legacy Cup North America. It was like USA, Canada, Mexico, and I think the Caribbean islands, something like that. I turned pro, and then and then obviously when I turned pro, I was one of the very few Arabs who had turned pro. Now, mind you, and this is also an essential piece of the puzzle, at that time, I think I switched my entire YouTube. So as of early 2017, when I was prepping to get my pro card this time, I decided to change all my YouTube into Arabic. So my niche was Arabic niche. Not only that, but the first video that I did with my Arabic channel was about masturbation, like the myths and truth about masturbation and like the effects of it, and is it really bad for you and all that kind of stuff. The person who inspired me was Rich Piana. So I looked at Rich Piana, I studied kind of how he was doing what he was doing, and I noticed he was doing something that no one else was doing, which was being very open and honest and talked about all kinds of different topics that no one would talk about. This is a book that I had read called Blue Ocean Effect. It was like the Blue Ocean Effect or the Blue Ocean technique. It's basically going against everything else. This is what we like the console did against Sony PlayStation and Xbox, where they went entirely to a different market. Instead of targeting young people, the Wii's target audience was actually people above 40 and 50 years old. So I decided to do the same thing. I said, you know what, there's no one in the Middle East that's talking about all these kind of outrageous topics. There's no one talking about like either masturbation or sex or steroid use and all that kind of thing. So I said, I'm going to do an Arabic channel, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to like Rich Piana it in the Middle East. And I started a new Arabic channel in early 2017 where I documented my journey to turning pro, plus all these other extra videos that were very controversial. But at the same time, my YouTube channel started growing very, very, very fast. So that was my technique into becoming popular on YouTube. Now, obviously, I used the YouTube channel to funnel audiences into buying programs. And then when I turned pro, that really grew exponentially. I had a lot more clients. At that time, I think I started making maybe $20,000 a month, and a little bit from YouTube. I think it was like I'm making $1,000. Because mind you, YouTube only pays you based on your demographic. So the ROI for an Arabic audience is not the same as an English audience. I kind of get like 1/5 now of what someone or 1/8 of what Greg Doucette does on YouTube, for example. So turned pro, I had now two options. I honestly never thought I'd do well as a pro. So I said, I have to find a very difficult show to do as my first show. I think this would make a very big impact, and I think that would change the course of my career if I do well. If I don't do well, then that's a sign where I'm not fit as a pro, and I shouldn't waste my health and money into all the steroid use and all that kind of thing, and just focus on my online coaching. Fast forward, I do New York Pro 2018, place 4th. After that, I do 2018 Toronto Pro, I placed 3rd, and then Vancouver Pro, I placed 1st. I go to the Olympia. I'm one of the very, very few Arab bodybuilders or Middle Eastern bodybuilders who competed at the Mr. Olympia, let alone one of the few bodybuilders in 2018 who earned their Olympia qualification from their rookie year. That doesn't happen often, even in today's pro bodybuilding scene. Like, it's rare when someone kind of hits the nail and does, hits the Olympia from the first time as in the rookie year. So that helped a lot. At this point, my YouTube is just flying up. I'm reaching close to 1 million subscribers. My Facebook page was like at 1.2 million. And I started my Instagram at the time. I started Instagram very late, which was a mistake that you shouldn't do. If there are any new platforms, get on that right away. So I started my Instagram late, and I was, I think, at 200,000 at the time. 2019, I had an amazing year again. I started off with New York Pro. I didn't do well in that one. I think I placed 6th, but then I avenged that and placed 2nd at Toronto Pro. Now, 2019, that's when I reached out to Aaron Singerman from Redcon One. I was already using their products, and I really, really, really liked the company. I liked everything about the company. I liked their political stance. They're a very conservative kind of focused company. I liked their morals, and I liked Aaron Singerman as a person too. I liked him very much. He has a very inspirational story, and the way he became a millionaire from the fitness industry was very inspiring to me. So I wanted to work with him. At the time, Redcon One did not have any demographic in the Middle East. Like, they do not even cater at the time to the Middle East. Their audience is like strictly American. So I told Aaron, give me a shot, and I guarantee you I will spread Redcon One into the entire Middle East. Remember, I had a lot of experience from my supplement company, so I know the know-how on how to kind of grow a brand. This time, I'm a sponsored athlete. So for sure, in my mind, I would be delivering a lot more than the average athlete, like whole different level. And so we signed together, and I think I was the lowest paid athlete at the time at Redcon 1. I qualify again for the 2019 Mr. Olympia. I decide not to do it and I regret that, for useless personal reasons at the time. So 2020 was COVID year. Now, after I qualify for the Olympia at the second time in a row, again, my programs, the whole thing just kept growing. And when I signed with Redcon 1, also that kind of gave me a boost in credibility. So now I have my YouTube channel that's almost 1 million subscribers. I got my programs I'm making about $20,000 to $30,000 a month from, and I have Redcon 1 as my sponsors. So very credible at the time. Reputation is increasing, you know, at a very fast exponential rate, especially in the Middle East. Now, mind you, my YouTube, everything at this point is in Arabic, so it's all catered to an industry that hasn't really been tapped much. Obviously, after what I did, we got in tons of Middle Eastern YouTubers with their YouTube channels, and the online coaching started to become a thing. But I mean, you know, being one of the first people, or the first person who actually started all that in the Middle East, that still held on to my brand and my name. So I'd say even till today, I think I'm selling to 80% of the clientele there. So I have most of the, I guess, market, you know, of the Middle East. Now 2020, COVID year, bad year. It started off really bad. People, you know, I think in February, the sales dropped heavily. So what I remember what I did was very quickly on, I needed to change my I wanted to upgrade everything. I wanted to upgrade my house. I wanted to get a supercar at the time. So I found there was a political satirist in the Middle East who used to have like the biggest viewership of anyone who had a show in the Middle East. He's like, I won't even say the Jimmy Kimmel, he's probably like the Jay Leno of the Middle East, you know what I mean? So he became a vegan at the time. And his show was stopped for political reasons. It was canceled, and he had to leave Egypt, go to USA and reside there, and he wasn't allowed to return back for political reasons. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, you know, this guy is maybe not in the best place ever. Maybe he'll answer me if I reach out to him. So I do a YouTube video on the effects of veganism, on what I think of it, blah, blah, blah. And then he reposts that video. The second he reposts the video, I reach out to him. I'm like, I want to do an interview with you. You know, I have at the time I had over 1 million people on YouTube, and I think, you know, that would kind of like give you a little bit of a spark and also give me a big boost. And he agreed, and I went right away, same week. I flew out there and I did an interview with him, and that blew again my YouTube and my Facebook and everything. My YouTube hit 1.2 million at the time, and my Facebook was like at 1.5 million. My Instagram was like 500,000, and my program sales blew up. And it wasn't because of the video, it was because after I released the video, we kind of became friends, and I coached him for free. And the transformation, this was the transformation, was amazing. And then he posted the transformation on his social media, and he has like 3.5 million followers on Instagram. And then like 2020 became my best year ever. Like I was selling, I think, I was making probably 100K a month. No joke. Programs just 20, 30 a day kind of thing. And I had to hire a team to help me out. And 2020 turned out to be a great year. Unfortunately, it was a great year financially, not personally, because I had back surgery. I always had a back injury, and like I was on my way down. Now, this is a very crucial business tip for the fitness industry, or for people who are, you know, striving to become successful in the fitness industry. Most bodybuilders post their injuries on Instagram. You shouldn't do that if you have sponsors and if you're selling a product. The reason why you shouldn't do that is because people that are buying a product from you associate the product from you. You are the brand, and you are what you are selling. So if you're marketing yourself as successful, as a strong athlete, as a wealthy athlete, you know, with the lifestyle and everything, this is what you're selling. You're not just selling a program. People are not just gonna buy from you based on solemnly, obviously it's a big part, but they're not going to buy off you based solemnly on the quality of your program or your skills as a coach. It's also a whole package. When I did my back surgery, what I did was 2 months before my back surgery, it was obviously scheduled for July 7th, 2020. In April, I started creating content for 3 months after my surgery, because I knew after my surgery, I wouldn't be able to move much. I wouldn't be able to train. I wouldn't be able to produce content. And I don't want anyone to know that I had back surgery, especially my sponsors and my fans. And no, I don't, my sponsors would not have dropped me. I just don't want that negative light on me whatsoever. So I started filming a shit ton of content for the months ahead. I did my surgery. No one found out except 3 months after, when I posted a before and after picture of me in a cane coming out of surgery, and a picture of, like, you know, front double bicep, and like telling people, by the way, I had back surgery, I'm okay now, things are great, I'm back into training. And so that's how I did things. And obviously sales continued to grow, and even that incident kind of boasted even more credibility in my skills and my ability to you know, handle my injuries and handle other people's injuries. And at the time, my YouTube was still growing. I signed with Redcon 1 again, and the programs were still kind of going. At that time, my reputation was kind of sealed, like that was it. Fast forward to 2021, I re-signed with Redcon 1. 2022, I re-signed with Redcon 1. I became one of the longest athletes who are in a single supplement company. I think I'm one of the longest people with Redcon 1 now. Also, that does add credibility when you constantly provide results for a company, and you don't switch back and forth between companies, and you don't just solemnly chase the salary. You grow credibility. Because if you're, I always say, like, Redcon 1's products, they're the best in the world. Their pre-workout, I really think, I genuinely believe Redcon 1's pre-workout is the best in the world. And I used to say that before I was even, and that's one of the reasons why I approached them. I used to say that before I even approached Aaron Singerman. Now, let's say I switched with another supplement company because they're paying me like a couple of $1,000s more. What am I gonna do? Okay, yeah, no, this is the best supplement company in the world. Not, this was one of the best, this is the best. For me personally, I don't think that gives you a solid name for your brand itself that you're trying to build. Also, you have to think long term. Okay, yeah, you're gonna get a little bit more money, and yeah, people will buy into the new supplement brand that you're endorsing. But how is that good for your reputation if, let's say, you switch for the third time? What's gonna happen? Oh, the third company is the best supplement company in the world, right? So you gotta think long term. I was paid very little the first 2 years. 2 years, not the first year. The first 2 years with Redcon 1. But I kept the faith, and Aaron Singerman kept his promise where he'd up my salary, and I delivered. Redcon 1 is heavily spread in the Middle East right now. Everyone is always looking for Redcon 1 products. And yeah, now we are 2023. The programs are going strong. My content is still in Arabic, but again, so now my move is different in 2023. I started an English channel, which is this one, still with Redcon 1. The fourth thing that I'm doing is that I am going to be doing my own show in the Middle East, which is my own motivational speech or seminar, whatever you want to call it. I had a motivational speech in 2021. This is like kind of a clip from it. It was a huge success, but it wasn't just my show. It was part of a big show. It was part of a bigger show, but it was a huge success, and everyone was reposting clips from that motivational speech. This year, in a month, in September, I will have my own event, my own motivational speech with tickets. So hopefully that would add a little bit more onto my income. And that's how I guess I became a millionaire from the fitness industry. And that's today's video. I tried to summarize as much as I can. I hope this video was useful to all of you. And please subscribe to my channel, buy a program, and I'll see you next time on the next episode. By the way, guys, for the Redcon 1 link, if you want Redcon 1 supplements, the link is in the description box. The code is DURA for 20% off. The link also for my customized programs is down in the description box as well. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.